Welcome. This is Impactmasters Media bringing you another episode of podcast, vlog. And today, we are blessed to have one of the greatest men that Africa has ever brought. The man himself, in tech ecosystem, he has left a dent. Actually, he's still creating the impact. And these are the kind of stories that we would like to bring forth, so that you can see it's not that difficult to do. But first and foremost, we would like to know who he is, because you can't tell an African story, especially for a man, without actually telling who they are. Today, we are honored to have Sam Gikandi from africastalking. Sam, what's up?
Yo, how you doing?
I'm cool.
I'm good.
It's good, man. It's good to be part of this podcast. And as usual, we start this podcast by just knowing who you are. Like, what's your name? Where do you come from? Who is Sam? If someone asks, who is Sam? What would you like them to know about Sam?
So I'm Sam Gikandi. I'm Kenyan. I write code. I write software. I build products that scale. I'm the CEO at africastalking. So I'm someone at africastalking as well. What else do you want to know?
I want to know everything. You see, that's
what version are we going with here? Because there's a long version and
this is where you say anything and everything, including what you have never said. So feel free. Feel free.
So what can I say? So my story, I guess, born in a village called Ihide, Nyeri, to the son of a freedom fighter.
Mau Mau? Are you talking about Mau Mau?
Yes,
Okay. Interesting.
Son of a freedom fighter, very fierce man. Went to the forest, fought, had maybe almost 30 kids. That's my father. So now his father is one who fought.
Okay. So this second generation, you are the third generation.
So I'm basically carrying a lot of that.
The DNA is like Eston Kimani, yeah?
The struggle for independence is real.
Yeah.
My mom is also the daughter of a freedom fighter as well. So her dad was he actually started, I don't know if you know the Independence Church. AIPCA.
Yeah, I know AIPCA. It's a big church in Central.
He's a founder.
And Eastern side. Founder of AIPCA.
Founder of the first Archbishop. But also, spent some time. I remember when my mom was 6, she tells me how he was taken to prison in Lamu. Actually, you wonder why Kenyans don't go to Lamu these days.
Oh, yeah?
That's where they used to. They just drop you in the island and
leave you there.
There's no
That's a prison.
Go. Yes.
And you can't swim.
You can't do anything.
Yeah.
So those days, you can imagine crocodiles, everything. So those are the parents of my parents.
Wow.
I remember my mom saying how when she was 6, how they put the kids, they told them you can bring one child to see you. So my mom was put in a lorry and they're driving through all these rivers and she can see the crocodiles coming.
From Central to Lamu is quite a distance, especially using a lorry.
Yeah, it's insane. I guess only a child can survive that kind of journey. So that's and I'm telling this because I think it's important that we understand our childhood.
Very important, yeah.
When my father was growing up, he would see his dad was no nonsense. I guess when you have 29 children, you have to apply draconian measures to keep the house in order. So he grew up seeing very, very, very extreme methods of discipline. And I'm the last born, last of 4. There's 5 years between me and the second last born. So I also wonder, was I meant to show up?
Or was it an afterthought?
Yeah, was it an afterthought? And when I look at my life, I'm like,
this was an accident.
It's always, these things happen. Now that I have a couple of kids, I can see how.
You understand.
The more you get, the more you're like, hey, chief. Because you're getting these kids in a situation that's not healthy. That can inflict a lot of pain.
Yeah.
So I did grow up with a lot of pain, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So as a child, stories were not funny.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk about childhood. And besides this podcast, I've heard you, every time I interact with you or every engagement we have, there's that side that shows, and there's also the spirituality of things. There's resilience, and I see where now that comes from. So how was your childhood like? How is it growing in here?
It was harsh. It was harsh. You can imagine growing up in a home where there is no harmony. It's very tough. There's violence. A lot of physical violence. So and you as the youngest, you have to survive. Because you don't have. What are you gonna do? Where are you gonna go? So you have to invent reasons for you to go back to that house. Every day. And I think that's where I'd say a lot of my ability to create worlds that do not exist. I think that came from that. So just coping. Because as a human being, you don't deserve to grow up in that environment.
Yes.
And I'm not saying this as saying my parents were bad people or anything. It's really just saying sometimes you do the best with what you're dealt, and I can totally appreciate that the card that they were dealt were tough. If you think about, and I think this is a general story across Africa, like the cards that our parents were dealt were incredibly tough.
And they had to transfer that to someone else.
Exactly. So, and there was no. And a lot of these things are usually clouded in, this is culture, this is the way it is. But really, if let's say you have a dog and you beat it every day, it's going to turn out a certain way. There's certain things, it's going to turn out a certain way. So either the dog finds a way of normalizing that or, and God gave us very powerful minds, actually. Gave us very powerful minds where, and I think that's where a lot of even the spirituality comes in. Like, you realize what you're seeing and what I'm seeing are two very different things.
Yes.
And if you're looking at the same thing, because I'm creating what I'm seeing. So, God says he made us in his own image. So we can actually create our own worlds. So just to really think about that and as a child, and this is an ability you're born with. Incredibly powerful ability to visualize and create a world and make sense of it. So I think as I was making sense of the world, a lot of these things were happening around me, where you start to think the world is not a safe space, and it's up to you to make it safe for yourself. So seeing all these things, seeing all this violence, and a lot of this is passed down from your biological parents, anyways. So they're the first humans
who actually become your teachers.
You interact with them. You always go back to them for for safety, for security, for love. So when you don't get that from them, then
it becomes real tough.
Create your own world. So I was actually very smart. Even my mom will tell you.
Tell me about it.
This guy was
Tell
smart.
me about it. No, you are still smart, Sam. No doubt about that.
I think everybody is very smart. I think for some of us were forced to be extra
Sam.
Because
don't be modest about it. We know you are smart.
It's a muscle. I think the brain is just like any other muscle. You know how you can say
you train it enough
Mike Tyson
time.
is so strong, or Usain Bolt is so fast. Yes, there's a natural ability, but it's something that you train.
But you are mind smart, Sam.
No, but I'm telling you now why you might think that way. Why?
and that's what we wanna dig deep, because I'll tell my story one day, one of these fine days.
I will. To hear your story.
I will. My story is tough, bro.
I can imagine.
So
everyone's story is tough. We don't tell them the way we don't tell it the way it is.
But I look at two sides of it, and one of the side is like you said, is it normal? Like if you grow in Africa, you have to, even in Black American culture, discipline is paramount. So it sounds like it's something that actually Africans take with a pinch of salt. I don't know if it's because of suffering or because of the historical injustices that have been done to them. And they have to like let it go in one way or the other.
So, and this is why it's actually also a blessing. Actually, I think that trauma is our blessing.
Yeah.
The most traumatized people end up being the smartest people.
I cannot agree
like
more.
it's almost always because no one deserves to work their mind that hard.
Yes.
Imagine if the only thing that's keeping you safe is your imagination.
I agree.
You know, you look at what happened. For example, like talk about the Holocaust. For example, imagine the imagination that they had to have to survive that environment.
It's crazy.
And wake up every day and not kill yourself
before you get killed.
Yes, right. That's why the Jews run the world. I mean, look at how successful they are, and we have that chance. We are so traumatized.
And some, by the way, when I think about it, because I've interacted with the majority of guys who are building the next African ecosystem, especially in tech, I can say this without fear of contradiction.
Yeah,
that we have the most skilled, the smartest guy
by far. Yeah.
If you compare with other regions, if we had the same access to resources, the same access to everything that everyone has in the world, we will be way ahead.
We will be way ahead.
Yes.
Not would be. We will be way
will
ahead.
Be.
We will be way ahead. We just need to recognize that we've already been given the intelligence, the ability, the work ethic, the
resilience,
the creativity. Because you're creating your own world. So by definition, you're so creative.
Yeah. Look even what
your own world.
Look what we are doing in the music industry.
Music, we've taken over. Look at what Nigeria is doing. Look at South Africa. I mean, the stuff they're doing in South Africa is beyond belief. In the music industry. Now we're going to take that to the software industry.
Now, let's not even talk about software because you have already taken it there, man. Like, I love how you're
We're just getting started. I mean, this is the beginning. This is the beginning.
I love how you're modest about all these things. But when we sit with you, we have a chat, we talk, I listen to your mind. This goes without saying, and I know why. Also, the culture shapes you to this side of things. Is that we even taught to be humble, all right? Especially the Kenyan culture teaches you it doesn't matter what you do, how much you achieve, don't go shouting about it because at the end of the day, there are so many other people maybe who are not yet there. So for you already, there is no doubt. We know what you have achieved. So here you are in primary school. You're getting a beating. You said a dog beating.
It was so bad actually.
And you're struggling to find love.
There's 3 years of my life. I can't tell you what happened. It was tough. It was tough.
That is age. Which age?
Between class 1 to class 3.
That's 6 years to 9 years.
6, 7, 8, 9. I can't tell you.
It was crazy.
It was wild.
One day you'll tell us. Because even right now, when you look at the way parenthood is being carried out, it's quite interesting. Some guys are confused. Should I not impart discipline? Should I impart discipline? Should I, how do I measure this? Even the government is coming through on this.
You know what happens is this pain is handed down. And I write code. So we're the creation of something. We were created by our parents, basically. So we inherit a lot of their flaws. And those things manifest in different ways. So the best thing you can do for your kids is just heal yourself. Because once you heal yourself, then you'll know what to do.
So before you get to healing, you have to understand what kind of pain you have been through. So you're here, you're getting a beating, and you're in primary school. So how do you escape this beating? Because this also shapes how you're smart, how you are able to find your ways. Can you tell us that part of it?
No, you escape your beating by exercising your mind. And these things manifest in different ways. For example, I could have escaped my beating by becoming a serial killer. That's an option. That's one valid option. You can escape your beating by doing very evil. So what happens is you don't love your world, so you either want to inflict that pain on everyone, or you want to change that world. So I think the way I escaped mine was by saying, look, I want to create a new world for myself. And that's where I really exercised my brain.
So did you immerse yourself in books, or how did you exercise your brain?
Books. I mean, I remember when I was in that class 1 to 3, I was in a school called Dogamano. Yeah, actually, the only thing I remember was we had maybe 120 or 150 kids
in one class.
And and then at the end of the term, of course, they give you like a so they line you up from number 1 to number. I was always number 1. I mean, that used to give me so much joy. So I was like, this thing actually makes me happy. And sounds like I'm actually good at this stuff. So I just really
immerse yourself where you're good.
Stuff. And I was learning in Kikuyu. So my class 1 to class 3 was in Kikuyu.
There was that stuff.
I used to hear the class 4 saying, open the window. I'm like, damn, these guys are like so advanced. Then in class 4, I went to Busara. Busara is in Nyahururu.
It's more of an academy?
It's more of an academy because actually Busara was started by one of our neighbors in Ihide. Ihide has produced people like Wangari Maathai, all those people, man.
Oh, Wangari Maathai is from Ihide. Okay.
Yeah. These are the guys who went to the forest. My friend. We don't mess around. So she started Busara and I went there and I remember it was class 4. And I go there and they're all speaking English. But you know what? By the end of that term, I was number 3.
Because you could catch up.
No, I was like, dude, I know this stuff.
Was it boarding school or?
It was a boarding school.
Okay.
So I went to boarding school in class 4.
So that was an escape from the beatings, at least for 3 months.
No, of course, there you're also being beaten. So I used to be beaten. You get the beatings are still there.
It's all over.
But really, and I think after the number 3, then I became number 1, and of course,
there was no doubt.
There was no other conversation.
That was a result for some.
Until class 8. So class 8 was quite traumatic for me, actually. That's when things really fell apart at home. So the violence was too much. My mom had to leave.
So they separated?
Ran away. Two of my older brothers already ran away from home. And so it was just me and my other brother. And then, class 8 is when it just became unbearable. So my dad demolished part of the house. Imagine you're living in a house and
so he's like demolished. Saying go without saying it.
Yeah, he's saying go. He's, instead of, and that was his pain. I understand now. That was his pain. He was inflicting on us. Which is really unfair because as a child, it's not my job to make you happy. Like I don't even know how to make, I don't know. Today I would be like, hey dude, let's go have a drink and talk, let's have a conversation. So that pain now became very physical, very violent. And I remember that's when even my ability to keep myself safe was not even enough. And that's when I even started to do poorly in school. And I was like, I just realized I can't keep myself safe.
There's no stability back at all.
There's no stability. There's no, whatever I'm doing, even if I'm number 1 in the country, it doesn't matter. It doesn't so that was tough. And thankfully my mom stepped up. And,
she was like, I have to take care of these boys.
Yeah, she one day she came, we swept everything in the house, put it in a lorry.
Kaput.
And we left.
Was that a new beginning?
That definitely improved my circumstances. Actually, now let me tell you what happened. So, so we do that, and then so I was lucky enough. I think I actually became number 6 in class 8.
That is KCP.
No, before KCP. Okay. So second term, and I remember
you guys used to do mock, no?
No, we used to do those things, So I was number 6, and I remember some kids were so happy. The ones who had never beaten me.
This dude.
They were so excited. I was like, but then of course KCP came. I did well enough. I was number 1. I think I tied with another student. But I feel like if I had a better year,
I could
probably have done much better. So I got into Alliance.
Did you feature countrywide for that or?
No, I did not. No, I did not. Okay. No, I did not. So I got into Alliance.
You got into Alliance.
Yes.
Some you say these things like they don't mean shit. Every kid.
I know it means a lot.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Every kid in this country, maybe over 4 million now. I think 2 million do KCP every year now.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to go to Alliance. Now imagine you made there. And
I know,
I got to Alliance.
No, but dude, I was kicking ass, man. I deserve to get into Alliance. I was working so hard.
yeah, for sure.
I got into Alliance, and I think my whole approach to education, because by that time when we left my dad, I didn't need. I realized I didn't need to work so hard to keep myself safe. So something in me switched. I was like, I'm good. So I got into Alliance. I mean, I was admitted. I think I was number 17 or 18 by admission, because they also tell you, index this or whatever.
Is it by first come or?
No, by your score.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know where you gauge.
You know where you are. Yeah. So they tell you this is your level.
That's quite kind of mind game.
But I went to sleep.
Yeah.
Now.
You got comfortable, you said?
Yeah, I got comfortable. I'm good.
Alliance,
I'm in Alliance. And then at home,
nothing,
I'm now living with my mom, so there is no more violence. So there is no. So you kind of like. So me, I chilled, man. I think I was number 80 something.
That is first
in Alliance,
Form 1.
Yeah, Form 1. That's number 80. I mean, even my mom was like, "Dude,
what's up?
What's up?" I'm sure if she started beating me, I'd probably
you go back there. So are you saying also this beating actually helps you like focus in some way?
No, it's bullshit, man. That's what I'm saying. I'm here to say this is all bullshit. It doesn't make sense. No one should have to. No one should have to. I should not have had to go through that. Yeah. So so that. But I was still number 1 in maths. That's what used to shock my mom.
Like everything is worse, but
math, so math for me, I think math
99.9.
I figured out math, and I was like, so this is how you do math. Okay, good. So all this other stuff, I was like, I don't care. But I was also like, you know what? I think by Form 2, we're doing things like Now you're telling a kid from Ihide to do agriculture,
and that's what they do.
And that's what I'm running away from. Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to do agriculture.
I don't want to do that shit. I mean, like, why? I pick tea when I go home, and I cut trees, and I cut Napier. Have you cut Napier grass?
Bro, what are you talking about? These things that I've done.
This is as chronic kid that's like cutting Napier grass and carrying water from the well, and cows are so retarded, man. You carry a whole gallon.
They're like,
and they're
what's
like,
up?
Boom,
Can
done.
you get more?
I'm like, dude, man. So you spend and then now you're going to do agriculture? No, like no.
I'm not doing
No, I'm not doing that. Yeah. So I didn't really. I think Form 3 when we went from like 13 to 9 subjects. That's when I was like, okay, now. It's game time. It's game time. Yeah, let's do this. And I also knew KCSE is coming. So that's when I really started paying attention.
And you used to know like the power of education.
Yeah, because education is what had gotten me to Alliance. Alliance also makes a lot of mistakes. So you get into Alliance, and Form 1 they tell you, dude, you're a piece of shit. Like
because everyone is smart.
Yeah, no, they actually it's like a systemic called monolization. I think it happens in many high schools.
You're talking about monolization.
You get into high school, and it was so bad for me because I thought I'd gotten into a safe space.
Yeah.
But then now I'm being told, no. Alliance is not a safe space. I think that's actually what woke me up ultimately,
and this
when I realized.
By your seniors?
This is, of course, by the Form, especially the Form 2s. And some Form 1s will
They're
tell you.
also taking pain that they had in Form 1 on you.
Yes. And that's what I did when I became a Form 2. I'll tell you some
of the crazy stuff.
Especially I went for the big Form 1s. The ones who are bigger than me.
And you are small in terms of size.
I was so small, man. I was maybe the smallest guy in the class.
Small but smart.
I was tiny.
Yeah.
So so that also, by Form 4 I was back to number 1. I was like, hold my beer.
Let me show you how this thing is done.
Let me show you how this thing is done.
Okay, tell me about how you monolize these guys.
No, monolization in Alliance actually. So the good thing is, by the time I got there, it wasn't physical. So they don't beat you physically, but they basically they tell you that you're almost like a slave. So right now I could say MK, like fly for salt. So then you leave your food, then I eat your food. That kind of stuff. You come back, you don't have food. Then tomorrow I tell you fly for salt, you're like, dude, I don't want to fly. I'm like, hey, Form 1, you're feeling familiar. You start asking a Form 1 like difficult questions.
Yeah.
this guy just I'm just here to escape the
Let me
trauma.
ask you this, Sam. I got a couple of I also monologize a couple of guys.
Yeah,
It's like a culture. So what you used to do, you used to draw where we are seated, this map of Africa, right? So you are told draw map of Africa on the ground, and then show us where your home is. And this map of Africa, you can imagine the scale, the whatever.
Yeah.
And maybe you stand there, you think you're standing in Kenya, maybe in Hithe, and you're in Tanzania, literally. So you're told, okay, dude, why are you like playing with us? Can you show us where your home is in this map?
Yeah.
So drawing it is a challenge.
Yeah.
But also what that used to do to us is like we used to like get that challenge geographically, stuff like that. As you said, I think, not that I'm the same age as you, but the thing that we used to get from that is that this is challenging you also smart-wise. But also these guys will take advantage on that because, of course, there could be punishment after that.
There was, dude, it was... The only good thing is actually, so the cool thing is my brother was actually a Form 4, Alliance.
You guys were smart.
So, no, I mean, we were smart kids. Of course, he also has his story on why he became smart.
Not like
we all figured it out. Not my story. So we progressively actually became smarter. So,
Is he around?
Yeah, he's around. He's around. We did lose the second born actually earlier this year, so that was tough.
Did he also go to Alliance? Or?
No, he did not. So he went to Nyahururu High School. The first born actually.
Nyahururu is also not.
They're all smart, but you can see how as my father's pain increased, the smarter we became, right? Which is not a good thing.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah. I wish actually. Yeah, sometimes I'm like, the pain that I have felt through my life, it's not fair.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
But to some extent, do you think DNA has to do with smartness?
Nah, dude. I genuinely don't think so. I don't even think we're using a lot of our minds.
We're using a very small portion.
A very small fraction of our minds.
Yeah.
And that fraction is beaten down by your trauma. Until you start thinking this is the only way the world is. Because if we used today, actually I saw a tweet by Elon Musk saying, how we need to explore, outer space, and I'm like, dude, why? We are so sufficient in ourselves.
In planet Earth.
We just need to figure out how to use our minds more, how to use our minds better, how to be at peace, how to be... Because remember, we were created in God's image. We are gods.
Yes.
Literally, we are gods.
Yes.
We've forgotten that part of the Bible. We're like... So I feel like even the way... There's very different types of intelligence.
Yes.
You could say, some are intelligent like this, but... Like, for example, this week, Anthony Hamilton is performing in Nairobi, and I was listening to his interview. This guy, and a lot of rappers actually, they just listen to a conversation, they listen, and then they come up with lyrics just like that.
On the fly.
Yeah, like that Jada Kiss hook, the why song, why, na. So he just came up with that like this.
And that's smartness on its own.
And that is genius. That is just brilliance on a whole other scale. So there are people, and I was telling you how like one of our friends, can find a picture on on his phone that was taken in 2017.
Yes.
And he just
mind blowing.
2 seconds.
Yes.
Mind blowing. Tell me to find that picture. I can't.
You spend like 2 hours there.
Yeah. One of my other friends, she can tell you the day of the week.
Yeah.
Just give her a date. 17th of January 1432. Oh, Tuesday.
What? Are you saying we don't utilize like the true purpose of each and every individual in this world? Now
the Kenyan system is doubly messed up.
Because you are taught
we
the
put
same
everyone
way.
on the same line. You know that line we used to have in Dogamano?
You didn't say that.
That was the only line that mattered.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm actually excited that they're actually trying to change how...
Do you think CBC will change that?
I think CBC will CBC is headed in the right direction.
Yes.
Is it gonna take us there? I doubt it.
Yes.
I think we need to, I'll give you an example. So for example, my mom has a school. My mom is you think I'm a good entrepreneur? Oh,
I wish I meet your mom one day.
oh my God, she's incredible. She built a school from the ground up. When she turned 50. Wow. When she turned 50, she started a school in Ueomereria. You know, this is Jikaze.
Yes.
So we ran around Kenya, and then we ended up in a place called
Jikaze.
Jikaze. Life is hard. And she built this school, and today she has 800 kids.
Full-fledged from class 1 to class...
From nursery to class. Now she's starting a secondary school. She's 70. She's
Right.
71.
And she's still running.
Yeah, and she's running that school.
Wow.
And then COVID hit, obviously. And I love this because my mom. So she was like, "Oh, I'm bored. Blah blah blah. I need to whatever." So she started a hardware in Ueomereria.
The only people could do is construction.
The other day she's joking. She's like, "You know me, I would close down this school for the hardware because the hardware is making so much money
And things don't expire. You don't deal with kids.
She started this when she's 70. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
This is a 70-year-old woman that started a hardware that is making more money than the school that she started when she was 50.
What?
Dude, I'm telling you, man.
So entrepreneurship is also in the family.
No, but it's also trauma, you know. It's in the family. So that's the. So when I say there's all these different levels of, just intelligence. If a 70-year-old can do that,
yes,
or a 50-year-old,
yes,
how abundant can life be?